Well, I'm going to try it this way and hope I'm doing okay on this. Oh, I'm just going to continue this last one, and I suppose what will it be? Mind control pattern number 6. I hope I've got these straight. Anyway, I'm in uh, Tampa. I'm over in Clearwater, and this gentleman calling, well, he was a flying Frenchman. I mean, his photo was old on there, but I don't doubt for a moment that what he said was true, that he had been in the Olympics and won all these medals way back then. But his point was that he could get in to see John Kennedy anytime he cared to. He went to D.C., went into the White House. He could see him upon request. You get in Sinatras and all this too, but he had a portfolio and he pulled it out and showed it to me. And lo and behold, I'll just mention a couple of them because I've been trying to tell people about murders being done in patterns and mind control. And I've written the book, I've been given antifreeze and cross the state line, should have died, worked for the District Attorney Simpson in Huntsville. So I'm going back to this time. I've been trying to tell about mind control murders way back then. Well, one of them that he had in the portfolio, and this is one that I told about too, it was called Family Affair, was the TV series with Brian Keith, Sebastian Cabot, and was the older girl named Kathy, but you had the twins, and remember, twins was used in these murders, and I was brought over here and given the name of a twin, and both of them were really dead. But anyway, in Family Affair, it was Brian Keith, and I believe the older girl's name was Kathy, and then Jody, and can't remember the other one's name. They were twins, but the young girl died of cancer. I believe it was cancer. Anyway, whatever happened to her, what I had written about in the book about mind control and all that was really stuff that dated back to the Tesla files that were stolen, and they ended up with the FBI, so I understand, and I had a book that I had a page out of it that said that. But anyway, the point is that you can create well, that's so true, you program a person to murder, but you can program and create an illness, or you can cure it, and that had to do with the people I wrote about, Warren and Rosina Matthews, who were murdered in the 70s, and they worked at Larry McDonald's Hospital, Piedmont, in Atlanta. They were forensic, did I say that? Forensic pathologists. Now that this is back in Clearwater, and he showed me the portfolio, and I've been trying, and it had this big photo of Brian Keith and Sebastian Cabot, who was the British butler, English butler, and the twins, and it was about the program A Family Affair. Well, Brian Keith died in this too later, but it was after that program, another one. So movie stars have been knocked off in patterns. Steve McQueen was one of them. But back to this, Jody and I can't remember the twin that died in real life. But I go back to, I'm British. I found out in '83. At that time, I did not know. But Sebastian Cabot had been on a plane, my husband, back in 71, 72, well, maybe 70. For about 3 years, he had a company. I'm not sure who paid for that. The Brits probably did, looking back now. But anyway, he had a company in Fulton Industrial there in Atlanta, and it was called Grand National Corporation. And a man who retired from the, I don't know, U.S. Army or what, but he had a, well, I don't know. He was on up in the service, and he had retired, and he was working for my husband. So this is supposedly why he was working there, selling fabric. My husband had double knit. He would go buy the yarn and have textiles color it and all that. And he would sell it over the counter at mom and pop stores and all that. So this man was on a plane back then to California, and guess who sits beside him? And it's not kind of sad. It is sad. Sebastian Cabot, who played the butler, who's British on Family Affair, sat beside him, and he got the address. He started talking with Mr. Cabot, and he got his address, and he told him he would send him some bolts of material that was made. He got his address, and it wasn't, I'd have to go back and look, but it was not too long after then that Sebastian Cabot died. Now, this is kind of the response, and it fits into patterns and timelines. And Family Affair would be later when I found out about being British, about being Victoria II and Elizabeth and her dad, who became the illegal George VI, helped take my father down, who was married. My father's Edward VIII was married to my mom, Claudia O'Keefe, an American Catholic Irish. He had nothing to do with Wallace Simpson, married a double. And, I mean, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and Roosevelts and Kennedys helped take him down and kidnap me. But it would be like a family affair. They would try to say, my family squabbling. No, it wasn't. It was a takedown by the Freemasons, the Illuminati. They're all the same people. Trilateral Commission, or whatever you want to call them, New World Order. And Elizabeth and Charles are a part of it, and they're illegal. She's an illegal monarch. Now, I told about that, and the other one I told about the Flying Frenchman. Well, he had that in the portfolio. He also, and I had been telling about this, so he was he had to have been told to meet me and talk to me there in Clearwater. The other thing was, he had, I'm not going to make any statements because I don't really know anything about him that much, except I think he was friends of Sinatra's, and that gang was Tony Bennett. He had him in there. It was kind of a photo of a few of the things I had said about the murders and mind control being used. And then he gave me the newspaper clippings, which were really old, and I wish I could have kept it, but, it's not a matter of people not believing it. They don't want it told about the Kennedys, my kidnapping, and the torture, and the whole thing. Then I want the truth told. I will add this. A friend of mine, I hope he's a friend of mine, Robert, he was the one that got a report from England, and they deliberately did it. It's the first time that I looked up on TV right after them. I can't remember how many years ago that was. It was in the late 90s or early 2000s, probably. Yeah, it had to have been. That he gave me some papers about Wallace Simpson. They were going to open the files on my dad, which really was an imposter posing as my father. You should have seen the lies that were in there. I mean, it's unbelievable. And here's my father over here married to my mom legally, and he's trying to get it all cleared up, and his father steals the crown. And I heard the woman, she was on The View, and she's Jewish. She had the program on CNN, and Joy something. But anyway, she made the statement, it almost killed me. She said, made a face, and she said she was reading from something. I guess it might have been when the movie came out, The Duke and Duchess of Windsor, which is a total lie. It's an imposter that married her, and she's an American spy. But anyway, Joy said, she made a face, and she said, who would want to have that, and I forgot the word she used, as a king? And I thought, woman,